We ready?
Yep.
I keep hitting this.
I know. Here. Oh, shit.
Does
that help?
This is how we start. Welcome to Gylee and Friends. The podcast about game devs and our pixelated shenanigans. I'm your host, Chris Bergman. I'm founder and CEO of Gylee Games. Along with me, my illustrious, fabulous turtlenecked co-host, Kim Edwards. Hello, Kim.
Illustrious, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, a fantastic senior producer as well.
Why, thank
I
you.
meant to say
I
that.
appreciate that.
How you doing, buddy?
You're buttering me up because you're about to make fun of me.
You know, it's giving Elizabeth Holmes.
That's fair.
Have you started a pharmaceutical company lately? Wait, no, we got to hear the voice.
Oh, I cannot. I don't know how she was pulling that off.
Try it. Give it a shot.
I am going to buy my Theranos.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
How's your day so far?
It's all right. Yeah.
It's been so long since we've done one of these.
I know, right? I feel like I went to bed, woke up, and came back here.
Yes, that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah. How about you?
Good. I went grocery shopping with the kids.
That's
it.
exciting.
Yeah,
I bet they love
Saturday.
that. Saturday.
It's very busy.
Yeah.
In OTR this morning.
Yeah. Oh, did you grocery shop in OTR?
No, we went to Target.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, but 471's closed,
Oh,
so we
yeah,
had to
'cause the
go
bridge.
through Newport, which wasn't as fun. It's fine. This is
It's fine. Whatever.
serious inside baseball for Cincinnatians. Kim, we have a great guest today.
We do.
One of my bestest friends of all time ever.
That's awesome.
And can I tell you about him?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Steve Hamaker is a comic creator that has been in the business for over 24 years, which means he's old as fuck. Ever since he graduated from Columbus College of Art and Design in 1997, he has collaborated with some of the most notable cartoonists in the business. This is true. Steve is best known for his award-winning coloring work, Eisner Award-winning coloring work, by the way, Steve. You forgot to put that in there. His credits include graphic novel series Bone and RASL by Jeff Smith, Table Titans by Scott Kurtz and Brian Hurtt, Strangers in Paradise by Terry Moore. I didn't know you worked on Strangers in Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
And Hilo?
Yes, Judd Winick. Mm-hmm.
Yep, to name a few. He's also worked with Milo something.
Xyloto.
6-part, this is great. I'm enjoying this collaboration. 6-part comic by Mark Osborne based on the 5th studio album by the band Coldplay. I've heard of them.
Yes.
Besides coloring, Steve is a successful cartoonist in his own right. His first graphic novel, Fish and Chips, was published in 2010 and followed up by his webcomic PLOX in 2013. PLOX, which is set in Columbus, tells the story of Kim, Chad, and Roy, 3 gamers struggling to navigate their on- and offline lives. PLOX Volume 1 and 2 were self-published in book form through 2 successful Kickstarter campaigns. Most recently, Steve illustrated the Pathfinder Society. My kids love those, by the way.
Oh, wow.
3 books in the young adult graphic novel series that have been published. Mystery of the Moon Tower, The Curse of the Crystal Cavern, and The Legend of the Lost Boy. Steve lives in Columbus with his wife and son. Welcome, Steve Hamaker.
Thank you.
What's up, dude?
Dude, I am so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me, you guys.
Dude, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
You had to
intro.
have a long trek down here.
It was just an hour and a half.
Okay.
It's easy.
Yeah.
This is an easy drive for me, and I've got family and friends down here, so including you. So it's a pleasure to come down here. I like it. It's a very forgettable drive.
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Except for the hell is real.
Hell is real.
Yeah.
It is real. And
we're not proselytizing on this podcast.
I'm just kidding. So the hell is real is a thing that we actually.
For those that don't know,
I didn't see it this time. I didn't clock it.
They've been moving the.
I only see it going up. I don't see it coming back. Typically,
well, there's a different message on the other side. So
okay.
there's a more like. Like a specific, this is what you need to do to not go to hell.
Oh, it's the 10 Commandments.
That's helpful.
Is
that it?
Commandments,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was another message, but anyway.
Yeah, so this is a sign in
two-sided.
between Cincinnati and Columbus.
Yep.
Almost like at the halfway marker, close
Yep.
to it. And that's on some dude's property, and it says hell is real, and it's burning. And
Yes.
It's a giant billboard. It's not just some sign. You can, it's very visible.
And it's been there for as long as I've lived
as far as I know.
in Ohio.
Yeah. And so now when FC Cincinnati plays Columbus Crew
Yep.
in the MLS, it is the hell is real game, which is really fun.
I like that they took that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think it's
although it kind of like screws any plans of like somebody like burning it down. I think it's actually
tried. It got vandalized recently.
Yeah, I think it's been vandalized before. But
Yeah.
now it's like a thing, and
yeah,
and it's almost like
It's a landmark.
It's a landmark, and it's part of. I mean, there's like T-shirts. For I don't know if maybe.
Well, there were T-shirts before the sign that said "Hell is real."
No, but I mean specific like T-shirts that are about the rivalry.
Oh yeah, right on.
Yeah. I've seen some here too.
Where I want that rivalry to go though, they're not doing this yet. Is I want like people to dress up as demons and shit. Like make it a whole Halloween party.
Like hell is real. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I think that'd be cool. Or even like little cute devil outfits. I'd wear a cute devil outfit to an SC game.
Oh,
yeah. I wouldn't, but I'd make fun of you if you did it.
Yeah. Does that mean tights then? You said cute.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tights.
I just want to. I'm a very visual person. I need to see it. Yeah, and I don't like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah.
Can we do sweatpants instead?
Sweatpants.
Red sweatpants.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you do sweatpants, then we'll be fine.
I had a sweatpants joke, and I'm keeping it to myself.
Thank you for that.
So, Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story, man?
My story? Let's talk about PLOX.
So, very successful webcomic artist and comic book artist in general. And how'd this all happen?
I'd been doing my own comics here and there. I self-published a black and white comic called Fish and Chips in, as you said, I think it was 2000. I started in 2001.
Oh, wow.
Actually,
how old were you? You had to been
25.
Like 20 or something? Okay.
25. I was born in 75, so I was 25.
Right on.
And it was supposed to debut. That comic was going to be like in floppy comic form, and I was going to do like 10 or 20, comics, like the old school, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of deal. Yeah. And I had it all set up. I was going to sell it, through Diamond Comics and have it distributed in, real comic.
Yeah.
Because I was working for Jeff Smith, doing other things, not coloring at that time.
Yeah.
But it was just very, I was very inspired, obviously, being in his presence. And he's a self-publisher. He's like the self-publisher kind of.
For sure.
So I was like, let's do this. I can afford to, publish 3 or 4 comics or whatever. So, but when the book was supposed to come out, 3 months before the book was supposed to come out, it was 9/11.
Oh my God.
So everything kind of went to hell, if you remember.
Yes.
So there was a comic convention called SPX, Small Press Expo, in Bethesda, Maryland. And I was supposed to debut it there. And then it was going to be in Diamond, I think in January of the next year. So I kind of was like, this is my
your comic and previews and all that stuff.
Ramp up. Yeah. It was like a ramp up time. And and it got kind of, not that, I don't know. If it was a great comic, it probably would have found its feet. It was my first go.
Right.
But it kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit.
Yeah.
So I kind of regrouped. And again, I had a full-time job working for Jeff. So it wasn't like I was, depending on that to make money. Anyway, flash forward, I'd done a lot of coloring. I colored Bone for Jeff, and that took years. I think I worked 7 years straight on that. And that's a 1,300-page book.
Thick book.
So that was like my full-time job throughout the aughts.
Yeah.
And then when we were going to have our son in 2012, I went freelance. And
did you color that digitally, or was that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's all Photoshop.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah. That was the only way to do that. Watercolor, I'd still be doing it.
Yeah.
I'd still be on issue 1.
Yeah.
So when I left that job and went freelance, I was still working for Jeff, on another project called RASL. And I came up with this idea to do this story about me when I was really into World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So the story was inspired by things that really happened to me, but also,
I was a fan at first before we were friends.
That which blows me away. Yeah. I think when we met, I was I didn't believe it because I was I'm supposed to be your fan. And then you were like, no, I like PLOX. And I'm like, no, you don't. Yeah. No, I like you and your stuff.
Yeah.
Because not that I necessarily knew all the stuff that you'd done, but I was just very impressed. I remember being impressed by you.
Yeah.
You're very professional.
I don't know how to respond to that. It's so tough to respond to that.
You're not. No, you're just a really nice guy that I think you should be proud of the things that you've done.
Oh, for sure.
It's really cool.
So I think I initially, the very first webcomic I started reading was PvP Online.
Yep, me too.
I believe.
Yep.
And then that's how I found Penny Arcade.
Yes.
Was through Scott, not the other way around.
Right.
And then found you through Scott as well, I believe.
Many years later, but yes. I was the same way. When I was working for another company before I worked for Jeff on Bone, and it was a toy company. And so it was early not early, but it really was the beginning of like webcomics. Like the internet was sort of.
It was like 2001. It was like around
2000. Yeah. Well, even before that, it was like 98. I think Scott started in 98.
Okay.
And the Penny Arcade guys, I think, were around that same time too.
Yeah.
So for those like few years before I even met Scott, I was a huge fan of PvP and of Penny Arcade. And I wouldn't work with those guys for another like 12 years or something.
Isn't that wild?
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I got to work with both. I got to work with Penny Arcade on some stuff too. So
nice.
Cool.
That was really cool.
What did you do with Penny Arcade?
I did a Lookouts story.
Okay. Yeah.
Colored.
Yeah.
And then I actually did some art for them for a card game.
Yeah.
It was a Cold War era ping pong.
They have some wild shit that they've come up with, man.
It was Cold War ping pong. So it was basically like, what if the Cold War was being
I know what you're talking
fought
about.
with ping pong?
Yeah.
So it's like the Russians versus the United States and the Chinese and blah, blah, blah.
And it's a card game?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was a very strange idea.
Yeah.
It seemed cool.
Yeah.
I worked with Kiko, who works there, and he I think he designed the game. Him and maybe Robert Koo was still there at the time.
Yeah.
And I had met them through Scott, so I knew Scott before. And I mean, my relationship with Scott started off really weird too. Like I sort of just stalked him at like conventions.
God, I love it.
And
I love it.
Eventually, it was like
also don't do that.
I kind of just made him be my friend, you know. But yeah, it was a fun group of people.
I had the opportunity to play golf with Mike.
Oh wow,
Kralik.
He's serious.
Yeah, this was for Child's Play charity.
Okay. Yeah.
They used to do that back when E3 was a thing. They would do a golf tournament.
That's right.
Every year, and we didn't know who we were getting paired up with, and I got paired up with Mike, and it was Mike and John Drake actually, who now runs games at Disney.
Okay.
And I forget who the fourth was, but it was great.
Wow. Yeah, Mike's good. I haven't actually seen him golf, but I know he's.
I think Child's Play charity is one of the best things that came out of Penny Arcade altogether.
It's big, yeah. I think they still do it.
They do.
They still do it?
Yeah. I don't know if they're involved, but I mean, it's still a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still donate to it all the time. We raise money for.
Oh.
That's what Game Awards Gala goes to. Oh, you got to come down for that, by the way. If you're in Cincinnati, let's promote this right now. Sorry, we'll get back to your interview in half a second.
Please plug.
But we're also inviting you to this event.
But we're inviting you to this.
I love it.
So
Game Awards, December 12th. Happens, right?
Yeah.
And we started this last year. We're doing it again this year. We rent an event space that has a giant, movie screen. And so we watch the Game Awards on that.
Cool.
And it's the Game Awards Gala. So you dress up. We're all in, I'm in a tux. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's in a gown. Ball gown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I thought you were going to say like cosplay.
No. Like we dress up like a wedding.
You're going to get your red sweatpants on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's right. I was Roger Rabbit for Halloween. So
I saw that.
I had the red pants.
You already had red pants.
I did have red
pants. So you're
helpful.
good. You just need the tail and the horns.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, everybody gets dressed up really nice. There's like champagne and stuff. And we do like some local games people awards first before the show starts.
Very cool.
And then we all watch the show together and cheer and screamed all the trailers and
I love
yell
that.
when
what time of year is that? What was the date?
December 12th.
December 12th. It happens, I think, at 5 p.m.
We were talking on the way down here, my wife and I, about coming back around then. So maybe we could do that.
Make it a thing.
Actually have a tuxedo that I've worn twice.
Let's go.
Really?
So perfect excuse.
As long as it's not moth-eaten.
Why did you buy a tuxedo?
For the National Cartoonist Society.
Okay.
So my wife works for the Billy Ireland Cartoon Library and Museum in Columbus at the Ohio State University.
The best collection original works of
Bill Watterson.
Yep.
Also Jeff Smith.
Yep.
Many others. There's.
Can you inform Kim who Bill Watterson is?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Bill Watterson is the creator of Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh, I love Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have the largest collection of originals.
Yeah, so he
cool.
has his collection of original art on sort of loan there. It's essentially they're storing it for him.
Yeah.
And also they do exhibits and things with it. But yeah, you can go if you want, you can go take a tour and my wife or one of her employees will show you
really
the
cool.
stuff.
Actually, I'll be up next week.
You have to wear white gloves.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that might work.
Yeah.
All right, if you're up,
yeah.
Let's see. Even if it's not that, we can meet up or something.
I want to go.
Okay, I'd love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So
anyway,
it's also the 10th annual Game Awards. I like
so it's
that
kind
out
of
there. So it's kind of a big deal.
That's
big
neat.
Deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we raised money for Child's Play charity. That was the whole point of that story.
Love it.
You
we
got
raised
there.
like $3,000 last
there.
year, I think. $3,000 bucks. something like that.
Something close to that, yeah.
Yeah, it was like $3,000 or $5,000.
That's good.
Which is good.
Very good.
PLOX. So you're playing a lot of World of Warcraft.
I was playing a lot of World of Warcraft. This was before I was dating or married. I was kind of a loner. The main character in the story is pretty close to my lifestyle at that time.
Right on.
So
it definitely, because I went back and read it whenever you gave me a book last year, I think, or something.
Okay.
And I went back and read it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of wild to like read it now as like an adult. And you're like, I fucking remember being that loser.
Yeah. Right. Well, I actually was that loser.
Same.
Yeah.
But it's like wild to go back and read that.
Yeah. And it was really important to me. It was kind of like I was putting myself through some sort of therapy because I was kind of out of it. By the time I started writing that story, I was not that guy anymore. I was I think already married. It was like 2013 when I launched the webcomic.
Yeah.
But I had been working on it for probably 8 months to a year before that, obviously, like coming up with the characters and the story. Yeah. The story, by the way, was completely different. It had a whole other plot and subplots and things like that. So I didn't really know what I was doing until I just started doing it.
Yeah.
And I knew that I knew how it started. So that's a thing that's difficult, especially with comics, probably with anything, like even, writing.
Yeah, just writing, yeah.
It's tough to know where to begin.
Yeah.
But I had the beginning. I knew we're gonna meet this guy. He's gonna seem very familiar to some people, but he's going to be very off-putting to others. But it's not gonna matter because he's kind of the antagonist, at least in the beginning and middle of the story.
He's not super likable.
He's not a good guy.
Yeah. He's
not a bad guy either. And I show that he's not like a jerk to everybody.
He's just immature and
but he's not like
selfish.
like an Asperger's kind of guy where he's just a dick to everybody.
Right.
He's nice to people. The people that he's nice to is very strategic. I did it on purpose, to show that he has like a code.
Sure.
And this specific thing that he gets mad about against his friend Kim is more. There's more history about their relationship that you find out more and more. And that was not originally. Originally, Kim was going to be just kind of a jerk. She was going to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
He was going to be the good guy. And as soon as I wrote the first 2 chapters, I was like, because at the beginning, it's not a spoiler, but the premise of the book is he gets kicked out of his own guild.
Right.
By her.
Right.
So immediately you could kind of
he deserves it.
Maybe a little comics gatey thing, the girls, the woke girl is getting rid of the guy. And and then you
were an incel before your incel's worth.
Yeah, right. But the thing that got me hooked was I've kind of forced myself, or it didn't even seem like that I was being forced to do it. It felt like almost like the character, I know this is cheesy, I'm sorry, but the character of Kim actually made me write the day before she kicks him out of the guild.
Yeah.
And that was not in the plan, but I was like, I'm going to do a flashback and show what her day was like.
Yeah.
Because she had a bad day.
Yeah.
And as soon as I did that, it was like, oh my God, this is the story. And I have 2 main characters.
When you write, do you let the characters tell you what the story is?
I always thought that was cheesy that people said that.
Because that's how I
never
write.
experienced it before that.
Okay.
But that's what happened.
Yeah.
So then I had the other character of Roy, who again was kind of supposed to be, to kind of go back. So the 3 characters are basically all me. And then they're also not all, they're also other people.
Yeah.
Kim and Chad.
So you're writing.
Kim and Chad are almost half and half me.
Okay.
But there are things that Roy, the older character, they're the 2, Chad and Kim are supposed to be like in their 30s, 33, 34.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be kind of in his 40s, 45. At the time I thought, oh, that's old. And now I'm almost 50.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I should make Roy older than that.
Yeah.
But he's kind of the sage, maybe a little older, wiser.
Yeah.
He's been around.
Yeah. This is a close guild.
Yeah.
That's the...
Well, and again, I didn't have it written... I didn't really have it written that they were friends for a long, long time before that.
Right.
Because I was in a guild of just people that I met in that guild.
Were you in Scott Johnson's guild?
I was not in his guild. I put like an alt in his guild one time, and it was such a big guild.
Yeah.
He had like multiple guilds.
Uh-huh.
It was like...
Yeah, you needed Greenwall to communicate with everybody.
Yeah. It was like servers, different servers of his guild.
Oh yeah.
So
largest guild in WoW.
AIE.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It's a big one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've played with Scott before, but I have not been really in his guild, not
right
really.
On.
But so we had our own guilds, and I was taking it very seriously.
For all the WoW talk.
I was taking it very seriously, and so many of the things, like I didn't get kicked out of a guild, but I quit a guild in a rage, in an actual
like rage quit,
like a real rage quit, where I was so physically upset. I got so mad at I was physically upset, and then I became immediately more physically upset that I was upset over a video game. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, totally. You like meta'd yourself.
I totally was like, why? Almost instantly, as soon as I like slammed my computer shut and literally like walked away, walked outside, or did whatever I did, drove somewhere,
Smoked
probably
a cigarette or
smoked.
something.
No, I didn't smoke. I don't smoke. Got a beer maybe.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm ashamed. I'm like kind of ashamed of myself. You know, like I felt like, like why am I taking it that seriously? Like, and since then, that's been sort of my house rule for myself. Is as soon as I'm not having fun with the game,
you stop.
I stop.
Yeah.
Or I just play something else and take a break or whatever.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, me
but
too.
that was a
great advice.
Yeah, that's my advice
for a lot of people.
Don't take it so seriously. But it's tough, especially when you're in a guild. We were in a guild that was pretty competitive on our server, so we were doing server first things, or server second. Like we were right there, almost. And it felt. And I was also like an officer, which I had never done before.
What role were you? Would you play DPS?
I was like, I think Hunter was my main, and then eventually I was a tank, Death Knight tank.
Okay, right on.
So probably when I was really, really like pedal to the metal, I was on my Death Knight tank because we needed a tank. And DPS, as you know, in a lot of games, not just WoW. Yeah. It's kind of like you just need warm bodies. You just need warm bodies. Yeah. And I wasn't particularly great at it, but tanking is kind of a role that
you got to lead. You got to tanks. What were they doing? Tank swapping by then and all that shit.
You can be good. Yeah. And it can be a thing that people can actually compliment. Nobody ever complimented me on being a hunter.
Of course not. Yeah, you're not going to get.
So basically, I got over all that, and real life took over, and I just decided to write the story, and it was really fun to, like I said, the character part of it was what got me. Yeah. Like, this can be me, but it also can be my friends, and I can. I was illustrating stories and changing them a little bit, but then I would be so excited to show people that experienced that. With me at the time. Like, remember this when this happened?
Oh, that's
things like
fun.
that.
Yeah.
So it became this really fun, just like small community thing. And then it became bigger because, then when I started publishing it, I got a lot of, fan response and people that were like, oh yeah, that's exactly, I had that exact same thing. So I'd go to PAX with Scott Kurtz and, we'd have our books and meeting people, and they would like buy the book and then come back the next day and tell me, they would just, a lot of times people would just come by and they wouldn't say, oh, I love the book. They would just start blathering about their guild.
Something of that.
And I'm like, I got them. You know what I mean? Like, I was so happy about that. Because that's what I was trying to go for. I was going for that sort of, lightning in a bottle sort of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then, so you do that for a bit. And then, and now you have Pathfinder Society.
Yep. So based on that, so I did 2 volumes of PLOX, and I kickstarted the book versions. In that,
can you talk? Also, Marcus, can you grab me another one? And then, can you talk about how, like the process of that Kickstarter? Like, how did that go? What was that journey like?
Well, I believe Kickstarter was pretty new. In 2013.
Yeah. Seems like it. Yeah.
It was sort of like I didn't understand what it was at the beginning, and then I believe Scott and his business guy, Corey, had done some stuff, some Table Titan stuff already.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of seeing other people do what it was.
Yeah.
You want me to pass it? I can pass.
We're just like
you're a good friend.
Oh, that was
Isn't that
helpful.
nice?
Yeah. That's why we only have friends on, because we take care of each other.
It's a good.
And you've got really comfortable. I have a couch
pillows
almost exactly like this.
Do you really?
In my office,
did you get it for $100 at a yard sale? Because that's where we got this one.
No. So the Kickstarter thing was newish, but it made the most sense because, previously you would, solicit your book in, previews for Diamond Comics and hope that people around the country and maybe the world will order it, order 2 copies, 3 copies per store.
Right.
And then you don't even know what that number is until much later. So you have to just print 1,000 books or 2,000 books and kind of guess.
Okay.
And Kickstarter, when that came around for comics anyway, it seems like, oh, this is just a pre-order.
Yeah.
It's just a pre-order.
Right.
So you can do additions if you want, but I kept it pretty simple. I did some hats. I did pins.
Were you worried at all
like
that it wouldn't go through, or that?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I launched it right before Gen Con of what year was that? 2016, I think. And so I had like between Gen Con and PAX, I was like promoting it on social and at the shows.
Right.
So I did okay on the first one. The second one didn't fund initially, and then I went back later.
Yeah.
Because in between 1 and 2, I got the Pathfinder Society, which you were talking about.
Right on.
And I got that job based on people I'd met at Scholastic years before when I was working on Bone. They were working for Viking now. Mm-hmm. And they were like, we love what you did on PLOX, so can you just do that for this kid?
Yeah, because it's got almost the exact same art style, right?
Book. Yeah. I even said, I'm like, do you want that? Because I can do other styles. I don't have to do that exact style. And they were like, no, that's what we want. I'm like, okay.
Perfect.
So I did that for 3 years. Unfortunately, COVID happened during the process of making those books. So school at home was fun while I'm on deadline for the second book, I think it was. And again, COVID lockdown happened when the first book was released. Mm-hmm. So 9/11 again. Yeah. So no schools are buying books. Yep. No bookstores are open. Yep. Libraries are closed. Yep. Nobody wants to touch a book that someone else has touched. Yeah. I mean, this was early COVID, so it sucked.
No licking books.
Definitely no licking books.
Yeah. And I don't even think they had a plan for like digital book, digital versions of it at that time. I don't know. It was crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the story was, the writing was, simple. So
yeah, it's a young adult book.
Yeah. But it took a lot of effort to make it a comic. So the scripts that I got were difficult to adapt.
Sure.
If that
you were the one adapting all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. So yeah, I was drawing, inking, and then coloring everything. Yeah. And then lettering and all that.
All that. So one man show.
Yeah, they would give me just scripts like in script form.
Crazy.
Like almost like a.
Wow.
But they were like writing, at least the first one. They got a little bit better, but the first one they wrote it in like TV style. Or movie style maybe. Yeah. But it would literally be like kid walks in, like panel 1, kid walks in, says this line, then walks over, opens up the refrigerator, reaches in. Kid number 2 says this. And it's like panel 2. I'm like, no. That's page 1.
Yeah.
That's
like
page
4 different.
1.
Yeah, 6 different panels.
So I had to kind of, because everything was already sort of set, page count wise. They were like, this is the page count that we want. Right. So it wasn't like a situation where I could just go, oh, I'll just make that page 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right. It was, no, that information has to be, in some form, has to be on page 1. Yeah. So I would just have to go through every page and just like cut down the fat and try to like. God. So it was kind of fun. Yeah. Because it taught me it was definitely flexing a muscle I didn't have before. Mm-hmm. But it was just hard, very hard. Yeah. But yeah, I had a good experience with it overall. But yeah, so that took me through 2023, I think, is the last one. And then since then, I've just kind of been chilling. I've been doing side projects here and there. Terry Moore, Strangers in Paradise, I do covers. I've done his covers for years. Wow. 15 years. Okay. Oh, wow. He actually has a Kickstarter right now going on of his covers, like a book of his covers.
That's cool.
And between me and like one other guy, we've pretty much colored everything. So I think there's like 3 colorists total. Crazy. So, it's kind of cool because some of them I forgot I even did. Right. Because it's for like the floppy comics, and then the comic will come out, and then it just goes away. And then
you kind of forget it.
He sometimes will reuse covers, for like the trade paperback and things like that. But for most, I have the files on my computer, but I'm not looking at them. So it'll be nice to have like a book that I can just open up and be like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. Yeah.
That's so cool.
What advice would you give? You have a youngin'. Your kid and my kids, they are the exact same age right now.
12. Yep, 12, going on 13.
Yep. Mine will be 13 next month, which is fucking wild.
That's very close.
He sounds like a man now. It's so weird.
Yeah, I think that's going to start happening.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
I woke up and I heard a man in my house. Like, who the fuck is this yelling at video games? I'm like,
No.
oh, it's my son.
I'm not ready for
It's
that.
crazy.
It's weird. That wasn't the point.
Never.
So
is.
mine loves to illustrate, loves to animate,
Yeah.
loves comics. I feel like yours is kind of in the same spot, you know. What advice would you give somebody wanting to start in comics, and whether it be web, digital, you know, or physical?
I just think just doing it. Nowadays, there's not really advice to give. It's just do it and put it on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're, you know, my son isn't old enough to necessarily have like, you know, accounts and you know, like social accounts and stuff like that. So I'm not really ready to go there yet. But eventually, it's like he can have a YouTube channel. He's really big into. That's what he. Of course, every kid his age is saying.
Yeah.
They all want to be YouTubers.
Yeah.
So, which is fine, but I remind him all the time. I'm like, that's really hard to do.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It's
you guys are doing
exhausting.
this. It's a job.
Oh yeah.
It's like a job.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to like
mean,
if he
talking
wants
to you
to do
is
that, he has to
definitely a
go to
job.
school for it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna make him go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's not. And I did it for comics. Like I went to art school specifically because I wanted to be an animator. At the beginning, I wanted to work for Disney.
Yeah.
And then I kind of pivoted and decided that was a very difficult road.
Dude,
And also,
Disney
like, the
animators
world
live
changed.
a brutal life.
Yeah.
And but the world changed in the early aughts, and the internet obviously is a major part of it.
Right.
And suddenly,
Well, and
it
you
was
got
like,
to participate in this cool webcomic community, like as it was happening for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I came in much later, but yeah, it was a thing that was like, oh yeah, if you want to make a comic, you just do it,
Yeah.
and then you just put it on your website, and then you have a comic now.
Yep.
And I love that.
We did that.
Yeah.
Oh, we did do that.
Yeah.
I forgot.
We haven't done the webcomic in a long
In a
time.
while.
Oh yeah,
It's
you were.
great.
I like your
Yeah.
webcomic a lot. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's funny. Very
Yeah,
talented
it is
people
funny.
worked on it for
Yeah,
sure.
I
Yeah.
agree.
It's fun. It's a great style. I love that style.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. The advice, and also, I guess more specifically, it would be, you know, figure out what you want to write about and what you want it to be.
Yeah.
But even that is tough advice to give because, like I was saying with PLOX, for me, I thought I had an idea,
Yeah.
and I did. I had a general kind of skeleton of what I thought it should be, but it changed so drastically from what I originally designed because I just started.
Right.
I just
Once you
began.
start doing
Yeah,
it.
I drew the first chapter. It was like 8 pages. It wasn't even that long.
Yeah.
And I was like, bonk, I know exactly what this story is.
Totally.
And then I just went for
Yep.
3 years.
Yeah.
Where did those 3 years go?
Yeah. Where did all the years go, my man?
Dude, I'm going to be 50.
Yeah.
I'm asking these questions. These are real questions.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's been good.
January 1st, baby.
Same.
Hey, isn't it? Yeah, your birthday's
Yeah.
January 1st as well.
Yeah.
That's
You guys
right.
have the same birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we
That's
get along.
crazy.
That is why we get along.
I think.
We're Cap as fuck.
We are.
Yeah.
Capricorns.
Yeah.
We should
Some
get
goat
shirts.
boys.
Let's get shirts made.
Totally.
The goat
you should.
boys.
The goat boys. Let's wear goat costumes instead of tuxedos at the event that you were talking
Oh,
about.
I'm hosting. I got to wear it. I look good in a tux.
All right,
I gotta
I'll wear the goat
I gotta-
costume.
Miranda would be upset if I didn't wear it.
Just kidding. I'm going to wear a tux.
On that note, why don't we take a quick break? And when we come back, talk about some news.
Sounds good.
Kim, what's going on in the news, buddy?
No, you're doing it.
I'm doing it?
Yeah, you're doing it.
Why?
I
gotta
picked
look.
a great article. I read it. I can talk to you about it. Now you tell me what's going on.
So I didn't read it. So I'll give you the headline, but then you take over. How about
Okay, that's fair.
that? Ex-Gearbox, Bethesda, and Epic Game devs launch Ruckus Games to produce Suburban Invasion game. I believe they raised a bunch of money from Crafton, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the article, I want to say, 19 million in funding,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
It is.
What I like about this article is that, like,
Dude, I love searning anyone get funded during
yes,
the games industry right now.
because we're constantly talking about layoffs, things like that, and so like
Yep.
the article doesn't say how many people, so I don't know how big the studio is, but like the fact that they're coming together and they're creating their own thing, I just am like super freaking excited about. But it said that they're announced to launch Ruckus Games, an independent studio whose first title will be a multiplayer game. So that's going to be excited.
Wow.
RPG,
that really narrows it down.
RPG elements. I'll give you some more information.
Okay.
Crafting, town building, and more. That's kind of all we have so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. It's a suburban invasion game. What the hell does that mean?
Town building sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
That could be neat. Yeah. Right on.
It sounds interesting.
Back on the point of like any game studio getting funded is good news. Like I'm hearing about how like devastated the games industry is right now, right?
Really
like we've heard,
is,
all the layoffs and blah, blah, blah. And like, talking to Judd, our agent, and he's like, dude, it is rough out there. And but it had never really cemented in until we're hiring like 7 people right now.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
and like some of the people that are applying to our jobs should not be applying to our jobs. like we've had 4 Blizzard people apply. Whoa. Yeah, wow. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
And to me, that's an indicator that like the indry's not doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are those jobs remote or some of them remote? We have
a gameplay engineer role that's remote. We have a head of marketing, although I think we found the person for that, remote. Community manager is remote. And then we have a 4-person QA team that has to be here in Cincinnati.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we want everybody here. Like we'd prefer that.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to turn down ex-Blizzard people and some of the other
100%.
insanely talented people that are like all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, what like
I know. We lucked
what
out.
are we gonna do with these people?
There are unfortunate circumstances, I'd say.
Yeah. But it's an indicator that like, wow, the industry must be dealing with it right now.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of connection to that world in terms of knowing people, except for you. So I'm gonna take your word on it.
I'm glad I know you.
I'm glad I know you.
Yeah. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
And you, Kim. I'm glad I know you too.
Same with you, Steve.
Some days I'm glad I know you.
Hey,
we're not doing that.
No.
Anyway, this article wasn't supposed to be a downer. I was genuinely excited that they're creating something out of nothing and that they were well funded.
Yes.
So
and Crafton funds a lot of good companies. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Very cool. So Steve.
Yep.
We have a new segment that we're trying out. This is the second time we're trying out. It's called Kim and Chris's Advice Corner.
Perfect.
So we had asked you prior to the show starting, what is some piece of advice or what is something that you're struggling with that you'd like some advice for? There's got to be a better way to say that.
There is a better way. We just haven't really finagled any of the details of this.
No, not at all. We just started for the first time yesterday.
Just advice.
Yeah.
Advice corner.
What advice can we give you?
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm having like kind of a creative block.
Ooh, okay.
Where I don't really know. I have things that I should be interested in doing. This is like projects that I would be doing for myself, like a PLOX, a project for me. And I just don't really feel like doing it.
Yeah.
And I can't start. I haven't been able to start.
Yeah.
I actually did start one and then it didn't work. I mean, it didn't feel like I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I guess my question
and these are projects just for you. Like you're okay.
Like in general, you don't have to be specific to comics, of course, but like do you guys have tools for things like that? Like just getting started creatively.
Lot. Yeah. I'm going to jump in on this.
Yeah, I think you got this one.
I mean, one of the before I get into that, like when was the last time you were bored? Like genuinely actually bored?
Bored. Wow. I don't think I have time to be bored because
That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, you think I need to be bored?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yes.
Yeah. So the first thing I do is try to get bored.
Okay.
And so that could be not having any screens or anything,
right.
And like just like trying to. Sometimes I'll sit in a hotel for a couple of days.
Wow.
Right.
Yes.
And or go somewhere. Even like go somewhere and have stuff to do, but then like there's a lot of downtime, right? Like I'll pop out to LA and have dinner with some friends, but like during the day I'm not doing anything.
Cool.
And so I'll schedule board time is the first thing. And I find that'll get me like itching to do something.
Gotcha.
Because I want to create that itch that I have to scratch creatively.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the first piece. The second piece, and this was like really motivating for me, is Judd, our agent, had hit me up. This was, I guess, last year. This most recent GDC. He had hit me up in like January, maybe December or January. January of this year, and he was like, okay, what are we pitching to new publishers this year? What game are we pitching? I was like, what? What do you mean? He's like, well, yeah, it's a new year. Like, well, what game are we pitching?
Yeah.
And I had nothing.
Wow.
I had nothing.
Oh, God.
And I had like 3 months to like put together a games pitch. And so I spent 3 months just kind of putting this Project Leo came out of that, which is a game that like we're working on right now with Hashim. His last name escaped me. I'm sorry, Hashim, and a couple other people. But it that point being that having a deadline is crucial.
Yes.
And a self-imposed deadline is fucking useless, I feel like.
That's what I think I'm having a struggle with is like getting to that point where I'm like going to commit to like an idea to put myself on schedule. Because I know how to do that.
Right.
I'm just trying to, it's almost
you
like
don't have the idea.
The spark is not there. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, being bored, I think is.
I'll try that.
Yeah.
And I'm also, like I'm kind of a dad. Like I'm doing a lot of dad stuff.
Oh, yeah.
At home stuff. And then I do work, but not a ton.
Right.
You know, the work I that does come in is very manageable.
Right.
Like maybe I'm working 5 to 10 hours a week. If that's busy, that would be a busy period. Since I finished that last book.
Yeah, but you're like, I mean, the time in between when you're like when your kid's in school or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, don't do anything.
Like, don't do anything at all.
Don't look at TikTok. Don't look at social media. Don't let that, like, what you want to do is have that dopamine kind of deplete a little bit.
Interesting. Okay.
And to make you kind of want it.
I like that.
You want the dopamine.
I'm going to try it. My wife's going to love it. Why are you sitting around bored all the time?
Why are you sitting around bored?
That's my guess. That's what's worked well for me, actually. Yeah.
Got
Do you
it.
have anything to add to that? Like,
I think mine is similar but different. So I have a hard time making myself bored because I always feel like I need to do something, moving around, things like that. Like that's how my brain works.
Yep.
So every morning I do a guided meditation. And one of the great things that I learned from guided meditation is that it's okay for your mind to wander, and it should actually wander.
Right.
And so that's when my creative sparks start happening. And so as soon as I'm done doing that, I kind of just feel reinvigorated and I want to start a project. And then I focus on that thing that I'm excited about because I had some time to sit there. I forced myself in that like calmness. So for me, that's helpful.
meditation.
Meditation is great.
I like it. I'm going to try that.
So when I meditate, though, I actively get rid of thoughts.
Yeah, and it just depends on the person or whatever.
Yeah.
But the great thing about meditation is like your mind does wander, and so as long as you're not hard on yourself, and you can get back to where you're supposed to, that's the goal of it. But for me, it actually helps me be more of a clear thinker.
Yeah.
It helps me process stuff and helps me kind of just forcing myself to sit in the moment as opposed to letting like my brain go crazy on stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So how long are you doing those?
My meditation, I use an app. I wish I could remember what it's called. And they're so great. Like I think it's still free right now for like a year. It's an amazing app. And it lasts
Calm?
I think it is Calm.
Yeah.
There's another one I think my wife used called Bootify. I think that's one. And same kind of deal. It's like we did them because we were having some like trouble with our son sleeping and also just anxiety stuff. And we started doing meditations like as a family.
Yeah.
Oh, I
so
love
we
that.
like right before bed, we just turn the lights off, get in the bed together, lie down,
that's
just
awesome.
on our
That is
backs,
awesome.
and then just do it. And it would be like maybe 10 minutes,
Right.
10
Yeah.
minutes long.
Yeah.
And a lot of the messaging was like similar to what you just said. Like it's fine if you sort of
Mind
start
wanders
thinking
a little
about
bit,
other things, but try to come
To
back.
breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And,
But it's not really like super strict. Like
yeah.
no thoughts. Like it's like it's okay if you have
Right.
thoughts.
Yeah.
And
And I
I
like having those thoughts, honestly.
I feel like we did as a family. We should get back to that. We haven't done that in a while. So,
It's great.
but I like in the morning thing. That's good.
It's
Because I kind of have I have a routine that I do every morning that involves screens, so it might be good to.
A non-screen.
Yeah, that
do a
was my
non-screen
problem.
thing,
That's why
yeah.
I decided not to do that. 'Cause,
Right.
Like I think we're all programmed nowadays to pick up our phone and look at
Yep.
it the first
First thing
thing.
you
And
see,
that's
yeah.
like the worst thing you can really do for your
Yes.
brain.
Yes.
I've learned I'm not allowed to pick up my phone until I brush my teeth.
That's good.
Oh, I wouldn't brush my teeth.
I've gotten better. I kind of purposely trained myself during COVID to like not doom scroll and not look at my phone a ton.
Yeah.
I do.
Well,
things
now
like
news,
bubble games
I can't fucking.
No.
Completely ignore the news at this point. Again.
Yeah. Well, I did a stupid thing where I decided to wake up every morning and watch the news.
Oh,
that's
This was
hard.
before the election.
Okay.
But probably for the last like year and a half.
Yeah.
I've been doing that, and I'm just as soon as the election was over, I'm like, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Same.
Good call.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done
Yeah.
because it was damaging my brain.
It hurt.
Yeah. Oh God.
Because it's the 24-hour news cycle, which is bad for it. It doesn't matter what side you're on.
Yeah.
Right.
It's bad for everybody's
Right.
brains.
Oh, yeah.
It's like too much information.
Absolutely. So
Wait.
you had mentioned anxiety. Like, is anxiety something that you have to manage?
I don't think so. I never identified that for myself. Maybe, but I've never been like diagnosed or anything like that. Nothing serious. I feel like most of the times in my life where I've felt what I would guess was anxiety, I just chalked it up to you're just nervous about this thing, and then like something like this.
Yeah.
Like when I was in my early 20s, this would be really hard.
Yeah.
But what happened was when I was becoming a professional, I would be going to conventions, I would be doing interviews, I would be on panels, like at Comic-Con, I'd be up in front of people on panels, and I just kept doing it, and then I just got used to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, did I have anxiety, or was that just being nervous about something you haven't done before?
Right.
And
Yeah. Anxiety is something very different in my
Yes,
opinion.
exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like anxiety is, I have the times I've had things like an anxiety. I did actually have an anxiety attack once, and it made sense because it was like it was a thing that was going on that I couldn't fix with
control
a relationship, and I had like a panic. It was more of a panic attack.
Yeah.
Where I like had to stop and I couldn't breathe, and my chest was like someone was standing on it.
Oh yeah.
And so that was the only time but that literally was one time.
Yeah, I've recently had my first panic attack. And the only reason I could recognize it as a panic attack is I have a friend that gets a bunch of them.
Oh, really?
Or a decent amount of them. And
so you knew
I had seen it in
signs.
them and like had learned how to help them cope.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that's more of a...
So it was nice because like I knew what I was going through.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was able to cope pretty easily.
Yeah, I think ongoing anxiety would be... Yeah, that would be... I have friends that
I have that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, therapy helps a lot.
It's... Yes.
Yeah.
But it's something that you're just managing always. Right?
Always,
yeah.
constantly.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think I have that.
Yeah.
That poor
I'm
friend.
But I don't... I hope I don't give you anxiety. Actively.
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
No. No, my anxiety is always like it's I get social anxiety really bad. Specifically in actually, why don't we go into this? So because I'm just gonna let me do the joke and we'll go in.
There's a joke.
There's a joke.
Yeah, Steve, what happens when you let someone shenan once?
I don't know.
They'll shenanigan.
Oh no. Did you write that down? Hold on. Is that
No,
in
that's
here?
in there.
It's in there.
No, that's
it's just
even
like
worse.
his favorite thing to ask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Welcome to Shenanigans, where we talk about different things that we've been up to lately. I'm going to start because this is related to anxiety specifically. So because I don't think we've talked about this on the podcast. I did the Time Left app that Ryan had talked about.
We did
on
talk
his
about
episode.
this on Joe's, but that's okay.
Did we talk about it on Joe's?
Yeah.
God damn it.
It's okay. Let's go.
Well, I'll do it real quick.
Go ahead.
So it's you meet 5 strangers for dinner, right?
Yeah.
It's on an app. They like tell you where you're having dinner day of,
okay,
and you go and you meet 5 strangers. And it was very anxiety inducing for me.
This is a real thing? Like,
real thing.
I
That's
did
called
not
Time
do
Left.
this.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Same.
and one of the things that I found so one of my pieces of anxiety is social anxiety, but it's a very specific type of social anxiety where like I have no problem meeting like 1 or 2 people, having dinner with them, having drinks with them or whatever. But like 6 people, like my brain just would not stop. Like, oh, I don't want to step on them. Oh, are they doing okay? Like you're like, is everyone doing okay? Like you become this person that's like, trying to manage everyone's emotions.
Yep.
Which is completely and utterly not your fucking responsibility.
Sure.
So it feels super overwhelming for me. So like that's one place I can't do it. And then the other place is like just networking in general. So I make Kim tag along all the time because like I have a really hard time with small talk.
Okay.
Like, I can't be like, oh, what do you do?
Is that when you came to Columbus, this would have been 3 years ago, I think now.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 4, but it was 3. I think it was 3 years ago. When I met Kim.
Yeah.
Did you bring her along for that? Just me and you hanging out?
No. I think she was just hanging out with me.
No, I was just curious.
Yeah.
If you were like...
No, I bring her to events and shit that like she does not want to go to.
Because we didn't know each other. At that point, we didn't know each other.
Probably GDEX.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
GDEX,
we were boothing.
We also just hang out a lot.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I didn't get weird vibes. I was just curious if that was an example.
He does call me his emotional support Kim, which
For sure.
is ironic because the person that he was talking about that has panic attacks all the time is me.
Oh.
So we're not good.
I didn't want to out you.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good to talk about it because I think a lot of people have it and they don't recognize it and they try to hide it. And I don't think that's okay.
No,
I think
it's
it
not.
Makes it worse.
It makes it worse.
Where were we when you had, was it IGN?
Hacks. Oh, no, it was IGN. Yeah, because it was the Uber driver.
Yeah. When we did Summer's
that was
Games Fest.
horrible.
IGN Live.
Yeah.
That one took a while.
That one took a while to calm down because I knew I couldn't have it in the car.
I mean, this is in LA.
Yeah.
And our drive to IGN, for whatever fucking reason, was like, because we were in the Hollywood Hills and then driving to downtown was like an hour 15 every day.
That's terrible.
And
it was not fun.
And this dude was driving like we thought we were going to die.
There was a lot of close calls.
Yeah.
And
a lot of slamming on brakes, a lot of yelling at people in a different language.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't. But regardless, like he would like sideswipe and like cut people off, and so like the entire hour and 15-minute drive was that.
Right.
So my anxiety was so high.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what to do, and then as soon as I knew I was safe and on the ground, I was like, but it was because I was holding it for like an hour. I just
still had to do the panic attack.
Yeah.
You're like pressing pause on the actual panic attack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that people can do apparently. Like,
I don't think I would be able to do that. But I guess like the one that I had or whatever happened to me this one time that I relate to, I wasn't even thinking about this situation.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about the altercation. This relationship altercation thing had been going on for years, and I had thought I was managing it.
Yeah.
And what was happening was I knew I was going to see that person or those people like the next day at like a party.
Yeah.
And so I normally don't have social anxiety at like parties.
Right.
Maybe a party that I had nobody, but not really. I've never been in a situation like that. I need to recharge after things like that. But
sure.
But going into it, I'd never have.
Well, you're like a hyper personable dude. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do need to like afterwards. I need to like I'm gonna go just not look at anybody and talk and and do the thing.
Recharge.
But this was just like I'm gonna take a walk, like a normal thing. I'm just gonna take a walk, and I got to the end of my driveway, and I again, it felt like someone was standing on my chest, and I was panting like a dog. I was just like
heart beating like crazy,
heart beating like nuts. So I just attributed it to that situation because that was the only thing that it could possibly have been.
Totally.
Oh, you're right. Your
but
body
it wasn't
knows.
a conscious thing.
Yeah, it's your body. It's
your
not
body.
Your body
knows.
just goes, this sucks and we hate this.
Yeah, this is unsafe. This is an environment you don't want to be in.
But I wasn't walking to the place or, you know, I could see where it would happen. Like, I'm walking up the stairs to the party or something. And then I had this, but this was just like, I'm just going to take a walk in the middle of the day,
and then
the day before.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, but I got to go inside and sit down.
Yeah.
and
so
feel better.
It is scary.
It's so scary.
Yeah. But it is just like your body going, nope, this isn't cool.
If you have a friend that has panic attacks, go research how to comfort them and help them cope.
Yeah, because everyone reacts differently. Like I like hugs, but some people don't want to be touched or they want just their own space.
You need to be grounded in reality typically.
Yeah. Everyone processes
Take
it
care of
differently.
them brains.
Oh, yeah.
Take care of them brains.
Absolutely. So I'm just gonna let that be my panic attacks are my shenanigan today, because I've just been working fucking nonstop. I've been doing nothing else. Lately. How about you, Steve? What are some shenanigans that you've been up to?
I don't know. I've just been kind of working. I'm working on a new book with Scott Kurtz.
So exciting.
So we're coloring the next Table Titans Club book.
Do you guys, when you work, do you guys ever like hop on a call and just hang out, or is it like
we have a Discord channel.
Yeah.
So we'll hang out there.
I'm in that Discord.
You probably are.
I think so. Yeah.
You're in mine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's got a couple different ones, but you're probably in one
Toonhound,
of his.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he has another one that's like just for gamer friends, and sometimes we just hop into that. A lot of times he'll just call me on Discord.
Yeah.
And we'll just talk. So it's just a one-on-one.
But you're just chilling and while you
sometimes we do.
art?
Yeah, I haven't done that in a little while, but especially if I have like questions.
Yeah.
Which this book is like, it's a second book, so I kind of already know what the color schemes are going to be. And sometimes it'll be like a new character, and I'm like, hey, is this okay? Yeah. These colors and stuff like that. But I guess it's not really shenanigans, but it feels fun.
I mean, coloring with Scott Kurtz on the
that's
phone.
really cool.
It's like a job that, I just really enjoy it. I've worked on Table Titans now for 11 years.
Yeah, I have a couple of those books. I need my kids to read them. They will love them.
The original ones are still, they hold up. They're great.
Because we do D&D now. They're way into the Adventure Zone.
Oh, they'll love the original. There's at least 2 of the big books. Yeah. The third one never came out. The one that Brian Hurtt drew. Okay. That one was the ball buster. That was the hardest thing I've ever colored in my life. Really? It was so complicated.
Wow.
Because he would draw. I mean, it's because he's amazing. And Scott is also amazing, but he has like a cartoonier style that's. And Brian's style, he kind of did a cartoony style, but he would literally like have the background characters all have like super specific like outfits and things. Yeah. So I would have to like track all of that.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
It's like, this guy's the guy that has the jug on his belt. And this is the guy that's got the hood with the goggles on top. Yeah. And it would be like so many paint scheme things that I would have to remember or, oh my God. And it just was like, also the pages were like 15 panels to 18 panels per page.
Oh my God.
So normally it's like, you'll have 3 tiers.
9.
So you'd have like 9 panels. Yeah. Or maybe 12. Yeah. If you have some skinny panels here. Or whatever. But most of the time, the panels are supposed to be, within a certain number. And these pages were taking me forever. And then they would like publish half the page. Like on a Tuesday, and they'd be like, all right, Thursday we're going to publish the bottom half. Yeah. And I'd be like, but it took me a week to color that one page. Yeah. So I'm not ready. Like I could never get ahead. Yeah. But it looks so good.
So you always felt like you're underwater.
Yeah. I felt like I was underwater, but it was kind of like afterwards when it was over, I was really happy because I worked my ass off on it. Yeah. And it looks really good. So I hope they do that as a book.
Table Titans. Check out Table Titans.
Yeah. Very cool.
Kim, how about you? Any shenanigans?
I've started playing with some friends and my husband a game that we made up. It's called You Can't Google It. Andrew and I we got bored. Andrew's one of our engineers on Rah Rah Boom, and we got bored. And he loves to ask me questions that you could Google, but like his pet peeve is like, I didn't ask you. I could have Googled it. I'm asking you if you know. And so he just started asking me random, like, who's the guy in this movie? And it would be like he didn't know the answer and I didn't know the answer. And we're like, we're not Googling it. You can like ask strangers. You can phone a friend. You can do whatever you need, but you cannot Google it.
No Google.
And the point of that is just like exercising our brains. Yeah. But we're so bad at it. It like we started making friends.
Do you have one?
Well, the one that got us, which was horrible because we should have known the answer, was who played Vinny in My Cousin Vinny?
Joe Pesci.
Right. That took us forever.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. You can phone me. I would have told you that.
I know. Yeah. It's like such simple stuff that you should know. And you can do it with like music or video games or like TV, whatever. Trivia. It's just random trivia. Yep. But my favorite was started to play it with my husband before we went to bed because sometimes I need to turn off my brain and I'll do brain games like I'll give myself a word like rest and then I'll take like R and I'll name all my R words, all my E words, all my S words, and I'll keep going through other words. So like a
way to fall asleep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But instead he wanted to play You Can't Google It. And he's so good at it. I finally was like, I know he's gonna know this, but it's gonna be hard. And so I said, what's the name of the VO actor who plays the mom in The Incredibles? And so
I know this.
I knew the answer. So I fell asleep like a baby, not thinking anything of it. And he couldn't think of it. And like 40 minutes later, he wakes me up.
Oh, no.
And he shouts, do you know the answer?
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter.
Yeah. Right.
And I was like, what the actual fuck. And then I realized
he woke you up by shouting the name.
This man
So it
has been
backfired.
laying in bed this whole time.
That's hilarious.
So don't play it before bed.
No.
But great
Well, not
game.
like that. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You kind of like punked him a little bit by making him, he probably was like, screw you. You just like, now I can't go to sleep. And you're
Right.
sleeping like a baby.
Yeah, like a
So yeah, I
baby.
probably would have done
Yeah.
the same thing. I would have shaken you awake. It's Holly Hunter.
Yeah.
That's so
It
good.
was pretty great.
That's
Anyway,
fun.
it's my new, I encourage everyone
I
to
like
play
that.
it. You can make
We kind of
friends.
have that as a soft rule sometimes. It's not like
That's a good rule.
It's not a like every time thing, but like when we have friends over or something and we're just having conversations, I hate Googling. I hate when I have to Google it. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. I like that
Yeah.
I do Siri
philosophy.
a lot.
Like
I'll do Hey Siri. Blah blah blah.
yeah, that's
No,
not-
that's cheating.
That's worse.
That's you're supposed
then someone's
to
actually
get your
telling
brain
you
to
it
think.
instead
Yeah.
of reading it.
yeah.
So you
That's-
just
yeah,
made
you're
something lazy
extra
even
lazy.
lazier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my goals.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Life goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is to help like avoid dementia. We don't want you to have dementia.
I'm already halfway there.
Yeah.
My memory is fucking awful, dude.
Stop asking Siri.
Yeah, that's true. You can build back the tissue.
Yeah.
Speaking of recommendations, Steve,
Who was speaking of them?
my segue.
Snort, laugh. That's awesome.
Do you, Steve? Do you have any recommendations for our vast audience?
Oh, recommendations of like
Entertainment, things to
Entertainment.
consume,
Yeah.
stuff
Wow.
to do,
Video games that you're playing.
I'm
Comic
bad
playing.
choices, vices.
What video games am I playing? Oh, I'm a big Vampire Survivors guy. So
Yeah,
they just
so
came
good.
out
New
with
one,
a,
right? Like
a
a-
Castlevania thing.
Yeah, I heard about
Just
this.
like right around. I think it was released on Halloween.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
that's
made me
cool.
very happy because I'm a big Castlevania guy. I love
yeah.
Symphony of the Night. Might be. I
Top
think
tier.
that's top.
This is Game Boy Advance.
No,
Or-
it's PlayStation 1.
Okay. Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Marcus
that
is
was
looking at
that
me
was
like,
an
"You
era
fucking idiot."
for me. That was a good era for me.
Yeah.
Metal Gear.
Oh yeah,
Solid.
Metal Gear 1. Yeah, or Metal Gear Solid 1.
Not the first Metal. Not
Yeah,
the. No, I never played the Nintendo one,
Me neither.
but yeah, Metal Gear Solid was
Best boss fight ever, still to this day, in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Oh, am I supposed to answer that?
Well,
No,
yeah,
he
go
made
ahead.
a blanket. Oh, I thought you were
It's
making a
it's the
blanket
best.
statement.
It's the best
Yeah.
boss fight ever.
You talking the final?
No.
Oh,
Mantis wasn't that his name?
is it
With
the
the
one?
controller.
Oh yeah, yes, that is great. Where he disappears and you have to find him through the vibration.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do know what you're talking
Well,
about.
Is that what it is?
No, you have to fight
no?
him through the second player controller.
Oh right,
No.
that's
You
what
had
it
to
was.
like switch the port and
That's
put it in the
yes,
other.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, now
That's
it's
quite
coming back.
genius. How do you
Yeah.
figure that out?
Dude, it took everybody
Game
for
Pro
forever.
magazine,
Yeah,
baby.
pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
Game Pro
Yeah.
or EGM or something like
Yeah,
that.
I think that's how we figured it out because I
Yeah.
think we had the
or
same
the
problem.
streets. There was a time
The
where
streets.
like you got information about video
That
games
is-
from the streets.
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a
Thank you, Reddit
kid,
now.
it was
Mortal
like
Kombat, like how to do Mortal Kombat fatalities. That was
Oh.
all streets.
streets. Well,
Yeah.
that was arcades. You'd go to
Yeah.
the arcade
Oh,
and
yeah.
somebody would somehow know.
And you'd be like,
That's
how the fuck?
crazy.
And nobody
Street
knew how.
Fighter-
Nobody knew how the first person figured
Yeah.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
Just
Street.
like a lot of time.
I was into Street Fighter back in those days more than Mortal Kombat, but it was all the same kind of,
Yeah,
clientele.
and there was all these
people
like
that
weird
were-
rumors of like, well, if you do this, you can get Guile to like handcuff you and like shoot you in the face. And, like,
Yeah.
that was never true.
Well, the Akuma, he
the
had that
Akuma
touch
thing
of
was
death
was
thing.
fake.
What do you
and,
mean?
and then became real.
Oh,
after.
really?
Yeah, I thought.
Oh, like somebody made it up and then it didn't exist, and then they were like, well, let's just
And then they put it in the next edition.
Okay.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
I used to be able to do that, but
That and I think Reptile and Noob Saibot from Mortal Kombat was the same situation.
Okay. Yeah, I'm less familiar with Mortal Kombat, but I love me
Arcades.
some Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And I love the arcades, yeah.
Yeah, Vampire Survivors new DLC though.
New DLC, I would say that would be at my top of my list. It's like $2.
Oh yeah,
Really?
It's so
they deserve
Wow.
every
expensive.
penny you give them, man.
It might
They're
be
so
$3,
good.
but
I
it's
can't
like
believe it's that
a
cheap.
few bucks.
Wow.
I love like that was my game this year's version of that for me is Balatro. Like
Okay.
there's always these like really small indie games that are just like you can
Yeah.
pour fucking hundreds of hours into them. They're
Yeah.
so good.
When I first played the game, I was like, this can't, like when just seeing screenshots and seeing
Yeah, it didn't
gameplay,
click.
I'm like, there's no way this is good. And as soon as I start playing it, I'm just like,
It's the best Steam Deck game ever made.
ooh, I don't have a Steam Deck. I should.
It's worth buying a Steam Deck
Just
if you
to play
like.
that game?
If you like Vampire Survivors, it's worth buying a Steam Deck just for that.
Seriously?
Yes, absolutely.
That's a recommendation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
for sure.
But it's
That's interesting.
it's an expensive recommendation.
Oh,
Mine
that's
was
kind of
cheap.
how I do.
Mine was $3.99. Okay, so
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
just saying.
Kim,
Noted.
any recos for the Deckos?
Did you just make that up?
I did.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yes.
If this was an interior design show, it'd be perfect.
Oh.
Recos for the Decos.
Yeah, I get it now.
Oh,
yeah.
that could be the show.
That
The
could be
name
the
of the
whole
show.
show.
Reco for the Deco.
Let's start an interior design podcast. Let's not. This place is in
Wait,
shambles.
I would
Perfect.
love that.
Oh.
There you go.
I'm supposed to help you read.
Can you do it with somebody else?
Stuff.
Don't do it.
No, but what if we did redid? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Oh.
going through the post-divorce, let's get rid of all the
Change-
furniture.
Yeah,
Change
change it
things.
up.
Please,
Make
God.
it
Yeah.
not a man cave, but more of like his
Just
like
different.
personal.
Also, just
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
My choices,
Yeah.
Right.
which is exciting. Anyway.
So anyway,
Cool.
I love.
There you go.
We should totally do this.
Why don't you guys do like a season? Like you just
I don't want cameras in my house. This sounds terrible.
you have to put cameras in
Marcus
your
is laughing.
How did you make the jump that you have to put cameras in your house?
I know. I didn't think
Oh.
about that. We could just talk about what we had worked on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you went from 1 to 100. I wasn't even there
I don't
yet.
know. Yeah.
Well, I'd assume people would want to see the changes.
Well, we could show
That's true.
pictures.
Before and afters
We could,
and shit.
we
You could
could
just do
take
pictures. Yeah. You could just be talking and
I
then
don't
just
like
edit
this.
in
I'm getting
pictures.
pressured into
Sorry,
something.
calm
This feels
down.
Weird.
I don't know why. Nobody's taking pictures of your underwear, dude.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing
Please
that.
don't.
I know
Actually,
that's where
not
you
true.
went.
There
He's
is-
taking-
there's
Nobody's
definitely
taking
people
pictures of your
my
red
underwear.
sweatpants.
And
Okay?
Yeah,
those people are me.
We don't care. We won't judge you.
These tangents are great.
Sorry. I'm the king of tangents.
They're great. My recommendation, I recently started watching a television miniseries. It's a dark comedy drama on Stars called Sweetpea. I don't know if anyone's heard of it.
No.
The main actor
Sweetpea.
is the same actor she was in Fallout. I don't know if you
Don't
watched
the
know
that.
her
lady
name,
in
but I know.
Fallout.
But I
Yeah.
know her. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. But she's actually British, so she
Yep.
uses her
God,
voice.
American accents are like
She's
when
really
they
good at
do it
American
is
accent.
I'm just always in awe.
Yeah.
Like
How
Tom
did
Holland.
they do that? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Tom
don't
Holland's
know.
American
I couldn't do
accent's
it.
incredible.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I will say, Ewan McGregor has struggled.
I agree. I prefer his
And I love
his
him.
voice.
Yeah.
I love his voice.
Honestly,
Number
is
one,
one of my favorite
I love
actors.
him. Number two,
Yeah.
but number three,
When did he do
It's
an
bad.
American accent?
he Big Fish. He tried.
Yeah.
He did
I haven't
a
seen it.
character in Big Fish.
Yeah, it's not
he's
good.
Done,
He tried to do a twang in Big Fish, which would like
Okay.
made it worse.
and I haven't
Great.
seen it yet, but the Fargo that he
Fargo,
was in,
yeah.
I think he plays two characters.
He does.
and they,
That's my favorite Fargo. And
Okay.
he does not do a good accent.
yeah, it's just
Poor
weird.
Ewan.
He can't.
We
It's a
love you as
cadence thing, but
Obi-Wan,
he's
buddy.
Scottish,
Yeah.
so I wonder
Yeah.
if the
I
Scottish
think it's
accent
I
might
agree.
be harder.
I agree
More
1,000%. But it doesn't, in all of his work, it never takes away from it. Like I'm
No,
okay
no,
with
no.
his
He's that good that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't even.
That-
I-
like I'll just
I do not
go
care.
with it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Tangents. These are
tangent.
great
Sorry.
tangents. Anyway,
Sorry, Ewan, if you're watching this.
the synopsis
love you.
that's online, I don't feel like it gives a good detailed of what it's about. For me, I want to say it's like a younger female version of Dexter. Like
Oh.
basically,
Ooh, okay.
she's just had enough.
Yeah.
And you kind of see like her story and who she is as a person. And then she starts to basically form to be a serial killer.
What's up with
Whoa.
you and murderers, man?
I'm
You
in,
love
I'm in.
murderers.
It's great. It's a great show.
I like
is all I'm
murder
saying.
shows.
Same. Thank you.
Menendez, I just watched that.
Oh my God, that was so good. And then the fact that like they could actually
Insane.
This is crazy to me.
Insane
That
that
they
they
could what?
might actually get
Yeah,
out.
yeah, they might
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
They're still in prison now,
Yeah.
and they're saying that they're
They're
reformed.
appealing. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
and so
Well, two things. They're reformed, but also there's evidence that is
They were-
has never been
Their
incorporated
father,
into
yeah.
the
Okay.
trial.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
might actually help them.
yeah,
Okay. Well, apparently they were abused pretty heavily.
yeah,
right?
by
Isn't
their
that the idea?
like
It's a
sexually
bummer.
abused by
It's a
their
bummer
father.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that.
No,
It's a
If-
great show, honestly.
Right.
and
It's-
Dahmer, the same guy did Dahmer.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
is also
That
was
unbelievable,
really good.
but very difficult to watch.
Yeah, I loved it.
I'm just into murders.
Same.
Dragon Murders. I love what's the Dragon Murder show on HBO?
Dragon Murders?
The prequel to Game of Thrones.
Oh, I haven't watched that. Have you?
I call it Dragon Murder.
I like
Oh,
Dragon
that's-
Murders better. I'd probably watch it.
Yeah. That's what I call
House
my
of the
D&D.
Game of
That's what I
Thrones.
call my D&D sessions on Baldur's Gate 3 Dragon Murder.
Murders.
That is
Because
great.
I
That's
picked
good.
the dark. Have you played Baldur's Gate 3?
Oh yeah, I finished it. Yeah.
I picked the dark
The Dark Urge? Yeah.
accidentally.
Wild, dude.
Did not know.
Yeah.
Playing with friends.
Oh, and you're like, what the fuck's happening? Why am I
Straight-
killing you?
Straight murdering people in my,
I didn't
in my
know
sleep.
this.
Straight
Yeah.
up murdered a person with her own horn,
Yep.
snapped it off her head, and shoved it in her chest, apparently.
There you go.
And
Dream sequence. I thought it was a dream.
My bad.
Well, you know how they do the cinematics, and it's like, oh, this is my dream.
Yeah.
And we had spent like the thing that made that funny. Sorry, another tangent.
I love
the thing that made this hilarious was we were all playing together on a Saturday, Sunday morning. We always play on usually Sunday mornings, and we got into this long thing with this tiefling bard.
Yeah,
it's the tiefling bard.
I know who you're talking
scenario
about.
At the very beginning, near the beginning, and we have a bard in our party. So he's kind of going through the whole thing, and there's like songs and, and there's a whole. He's teaching her how to learn how to write her own song.
Yeah.
It lasted like 15 minutes, and we were all kind of just joking around. But I was like, that was the biggest waste of time ever. And then we go back to camp, and I murdered her with her own horn.
That's so out of left field.
And I was
because of the dark urge.
Yeah, and then everybody else woke up, and they just saw the murder, the pile of murder.
The pile.
Didn't see you do it, though.
No, didn't see me do it. I saw it.
And the players actually didn't see you do it
Well,
either,
I basically, so the cinematic is you just, when you rest or go to sleep or whatever, your character goes down on the little mat, and then usually you just
hop back up
or whatever, and then it's and then it's the overview thing, camera angle. And this was like a whole scene, but I woke up and she was already gone.
Yeah.
It wasn't me killing her. So I thought I was dreaming that somebody had killed her or something. And then everybody else is waking. All my friends have woke up and they're like, "What happened? What did you do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't do anything." And then my character actually has a whole dialogue choice where you can actually say, "I didn't do it."
Yeah.
Or you can admit that you did it.
Yeah.
And I just admitted that I did it. Because of course I had to explain.
Oh.
No, I think it would be amazing.
I didn't realize that she was actually dead. And then when I came back out to the other view, she's there. Her corpse is sitting right there. So it's like, there's no denying that
I would
dead.
deny it.
It would be so fun to do a
And I'm bloody,
player.
by the way. Also, my character's got blood all over his hands and stuff. So
I see.
There was no getting away from that.
There's no getting away.
Well, I want to do a 4-player co-op Baldur's Gate where you have to hide the fact that you have the dark urge.
If I had known, I would have done that.
Right.
But I totally was just mashing buttons when I created that character.
Yeah.
That's
picked
hilarious.
It. So, Dragonborn. So it's Dragon Murders.
Dragon Murders.
And I've only killed.
Murders.
I think I've only done the one death.
That's not too bad.
It sounds very traumatic, though.
But every time I go to sleep, in the game, I'm like, I'm gonna murder. Someone's gonna get murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
That dog, we got the dog, and we have the owlbear running around our camp.
Yeah.
I'm like, one day we're gonna wake up.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be,
what act are you in right now?
I think we just went into 2.
Okay.
So we're taking it slow.
Yeah. It's hard to do with four people. And
It's kind of slow, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a really fun
it's
game.
so fun. It's so good.
That's my other recommendation.
That's a good one.
Baldur's Gate 3 is, it probably is the best game I've ever played.
I think it's the best game for that kind of deal. Like if you want to play, if you're into D&D and that vibe, it's the best because everything's kind of just taken care of for you.
Yeah.
You don't really have the imagination side of it because you're looking at your character, but just the gameplay itself and the way things play out is perfect because you walk through the door and suddenly there's 10 goblins. And,
oh my gosh.
And everybody's like, a mile away.
Doing whatever else.
Whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Looting sausages.
Yeah.
We got a guy in our group,
Looting sausages.
Ed, looting sausages. You're looting sausages and I'm sick of it. And that's not a euphemism.
You sausage looter.
Not a euphemism.
He's a sausage looter.
It's great.
And he seriously is just like, "Oh, I'm sending this back to camp. Sending this back to camp." I'm like, "Dude, we're trying.
We don't need this many sausages.
We don't. First of all, we're at capacity with sausages. Number 2, this ogre is literally killing me right now.
It's broke. It's full on broke.
So it's other things too. It's bones and whatever else he can find that he can send back to camp.
Love it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's been fun.
My recommendation, real quick, is a new Tyler Creator album, Chromacopia.
Haven't listened.
It's very good. It's a hard listen if you're a dad. It's
if you're a dad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or if you didn't have a dad, and I'm both of those things.
Uh-oh.
So, but it's good. It is a good piece of art.
Yeah.
A really, really good piece of art.
Cover to cover, you've.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Some banger songs.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. He's coming to Cincinnati. We're gonna definitely go see him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I might.
That'd be fun.
Reach out to some friends of mine, see if
I don't know why you're doing this.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything else. So
I don't know why you're doing this right now.
Steve, where can people follow you online? Is there anything in particular you'd like to plug?
Well, yeah, I've got a Patreon. So patreon.com/PLOX is my Patreon.
Okay.
I don't have a ton going on there, but I plan to once I get out of my rut. Once I start meditating,
Nice.
I'm going to get out of my rut and I'm going to start posting stuff back on there.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to post the digital versions of PLOX 1 and 2 on there, basically for anybody that, even if you're just a $1 a month situation, that you will be able to download it. So hopefully you'd just be able to like go on there, throw me $1, and then you just get that. Yeah. And that's just yours now.
Great.
So I'm going to try to do that this week. So if you're interested in reading PLOX, because I don't have a website anymore. PLOX does not exist right now on the web.
Yeah.
Because I let that
maintaining webcomic galleries is kind of a bitch.
It's not easy and it's very expensive. Yeah. Especially if you're not generating a ton of money. I mean, the Kickstarter generated enough money to kind of, get the books made and get them into the right hands. But after that, it kind of dwindles because, everybody's got their books. So it's tough without like a marketing department, a marketing team.
Yeah.
That would be it. I think, what is my Insta? Steve_Hamaker is my Insta. And then I'm still on X. Sorry, guys.
On Blue Sky.
Yeah, Blue Sky.
I am on Blue Sky.
Oh.
Steve Hamaker.
Are we friends on Blue
Yes.
Sky?
We
Okay.
are. We just became friends.
That's right. Yeah.
Steve Hamaker at whatever the Blue Sky, blah, 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 cloud.bluesky.edu.
Great.
.gov.
Yeah.
It's a long one.
Patreon.
So yeah, I'm on everything.
Love it. Great.
Find
Kim,
me.
How about you? Where can people find you and follow you?
This is getting old. Please don't follow me.
It's not getting old.
It's not
very
old.
funny.
Yeah.
Your face right there is just like the first time.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Please don't do it. Yeah.
I don't want you to.
Yeah. I don't like you.
That's not
I'm used to that face.
I don't want to be friends with strangers. That's all.
All right.
I don't either.
Thank you.
I will. I'll be your friend.
But I want to be friendly to strangers.
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah.
I'll be your friend. Follow me on Blue Sky.
Got it.
At Bergs. BERGS.
Nice.
On Blue Sky. I don't know if it's at Bergs, but whatever.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Well, we got to figure out how the nomenclature for that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It has a long thing.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
How do we shorten it?
I
agree. Bergs Makes Games on Insta.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to follow at Gylee Games everywhere.
Wishlist us on Steam.
Wishlist Rah Boom.
I did that
on Steam.
Thank you.
I did it
recently.
No, like long time ago.
I was gonna say, what the hell?
I think it was.
Calm down.
I know. Why are you jumping on me, man?
Because we're friends. You should have wishlisted it a long time ago.
I did. I was getting I literally was saying that, and you yelled at me. Let's bring it down.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
It's a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, and if you're in Cincinnati, go to Highball. New bar that I co-own with Jacob Trevino.
Oh, is that where we're going to go?
That's where we're going right after this.
Awesome.
Cool. I haven't been there in a day.
We're going to go play some vinyl records and
you can get a tea. Hot tea.
Hot tea.
A hot tea. Yeah. Anything else? Is that it?
That's it. We did it.
This is the podcast. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.